This one, I would say our season was like a 7. If you ask me, hey, after Klopp 2 years, forget about last season, a manager comes and he will finish you in 5th. We were seeing any improvement in the team. Slot is with this team, it's like almost like 10 months. And like not even any place I could see an improvement. He had some issue. Okay, let's use a band-aid to fix that issue. Then comes the new issue. We were not creating. I think this is exactly what Slot said. When we create, we had to create 10 to 11 chances to score 1 goal. And opponent needs only like one chance to score 1 goal.
I would say it's 4 out of 10. The biggest reason is performance. Forget about performance. I would not even given 1 if I can. Like we played worse than Wolves. They were unlucky. They did not have the players to pull off the individual brilliance moments, which we did all over the season. Like 80% of our goals are like individual brilliance at that point of time, rather than a team going together and creating a goal. I never saw that. Defense, forget about defense. We did not defend at all. It was like looking at each other, looking at the ball, and suddenly the ball goes to the net and everyone is like, oh, what just happened? Hey, welcome to another episode of Chai Clean Sheets podcast from Denver, Colorado. And we have with us today Jins, JD, and Sheik. The full group is here. And we are planning to do the season review today. But before going into that, like, share, and subscribe to this channel. It would be really, really helpful if you comment what we are doing right, what we are doing wrong. Let's get started. Season review. I would like to start with Sheik. What do you think, Sheik, as per your season review? Let's give a rating from between 1 to 10 and we'll go from there.
For me, the season, I didn't have a much high expectations when the season started. So I don't know if you guys remember, I said like we will either finish as champions or like we will finish 3rd or 4th. So I said that because betting in new signings is not an easy task, and Diego Jota's death did not make it easy on us. So considering all those things, end of the season, we did go to the quarterfinals of the Champions League. We did progress in cups, and then end of the day, we finished in the Champions League spots, and the club is in a healthy position right now, more than what the performance indicate. But end of the season, we did get Champions League for next season, so I would rate it 6 out of 10. If you look at the signings we did and the players we sold, like we let go of Alexander Arnold, Diaz, Nunez, and Diego Jota's death as well. So and then we got Isak, Kirkes, Frimpong, and Ekitike this season. And if you just look at from a statistical point of view, Trent, Luis Diaz, Nunez, and Diego Jota, contributed to 43 non-penalty goals in the league, goals and assists. But from Wirtz, Isak, Kirkes, Frimpong, and Ekitike, you just got 28 goals and assists. That's a massive decline, and that's the shortage of quality Slot had to deal with. I won't say shortage of quality, but considering the season they had coming into a new league, and Isak breaking his leg, and Ekitike injuring, it is a massive decline if you see from a statistical point of view, and that showed in the performances and in the results. And if you also see from an XG point of view, Liverpool scored just 63 goals, and last season they bagged 88. So that's a massive decline again. That's a 27% hit. And and even from an XG perspective, like last year it was 83.5 XG, and this year it is just 61.3 XG.
So we outscored our XG.
Yeah, I mean, like even any team should outscore their XG. Last season we did outscore the XG as well, like 83.5 XG, and we scored actually 86. And then this time it was 61.3 XG and only 63. And it's also worth mentioning Mohamed Salah too. He pretty much carried us last season, and then this season he fell off massively. If you look in hindsight, like if you take away his penalty goals, he scored the same amount of goals as Virgil van Dijk. So that's not good enough considering the quality of Salah and what was expected of him this season. And also from a defensive perspective, right? We conceded 20 from set pieces, and we conceded 53 goals in total. That's like a record number. And 20 from set pieces, the worst in the division. And we conceded this actually from 47.4 XG. So not a good look for defense or for the goalkeeping department either, because you're letting in 53 goals from just 47.4 xg, right? So that is not good. But if you compare that with Manchester City, right? Manchester City are the second best defense in the league. So their xg is like 44.2. So ours is 47.4. We are not far off from each other. But considering the quality in their goalkeeping and some of the defensive actions they took, they looked better, and the actual XG conceded. And Arsenal is an outlier because they play four at the back and sometimes a deep block. So they have a 28.3 XG. So if you look at that, like Arsenal made every other team look bad, but when you compare to the second best defense, like we were not far off. Just that our players were not able to take decisive defensive actions. So considering all these things, looking at the stats and things like that, I would rate our season 6 out of 10. And I think Slot had to do with what he had with him. So I think one of the analogies JD gave, right? Only if you can cook a great meal with the proper ingredients. I think this season we didn't have proper ingredients, and Slot as a head chef was not able to deliver any magical food.
Still 6 out of 10, I would say it's flattering. There are a lot of things I want to say, but I'll wait till everyone gives their opinion. So I'll go to JD. What do you think about Sheik's opinions, and what do you think about our season this season, like last season?
I think Sheik is right in his assessment of the season. Like when all these new players came in, we kind of anticipated it would be one of those seasons which is how do I put it, like one of those bake-in seasons where you have these new players and everything, you want to give them a couple of seasons to gel together and all those things. But even then, what I felt was, and injury crisis aside, I mean, that was beyond Slot's control, all the injury crisis and all those things. But beyond that, I would rate this season as a 5 out of 10. And the primary reason for that is, new players aside, I mean, the Jota crisis and all those things at the start of the season and whatever aside. And I've said this before as well. We never showed the fight in critical situations. Like as an example, the last 5 games that we had in PL to secure the Champions League and everything, I think we won 1 out of that 5, if I'm not mistaken.
My goodness.
That is...
Yeah, I was seeing somewhere out of 12, we needed to get to 4 to secure Champions League, and I think we got 3 or 4.
Correct. I mean, and the reason I bring this up is because I mean, obviously we need to look at the whole picture and everything, but that little snippet of 5 games, what we needed at the end of the season, is kind of emblematic of what this season was. It was a season of patches. Like sometimes you will, this is going good, like at the start of the season. Sometimes you will, it's really down in the dumps. And you feel, okay, the team is showing some progress. And again, we are back to the same. So it was this continuous like sinusoidal curve that was going on over and over again. There was nothing consistent. Rebuilding the team and everything is fine. But the thing is like it's you need to show gradual improvements, right? Okay, we have tightened the defense. Okay, midfield is our problem. We have done this. We have done that, everything. Overall, I felt it was a whole lot of chaos that was going on. Once again, I would not lay the blame entirely on Slot's feet. There are a whole bunch of things going on. So I wouldn't really say like it's all Slot and he has done all these kind of things, multiple different factors. But overall, as a club, as a football team, I rated 5 out of 10. Mostly chaotic. Hopefully we get things in order for the next season and move in on a better footing.
Okay. I mean, to the point of gradual improvements, when you said that there is a curve like going up and down, I don't remember, to be honest, where the curve went up. I mean, after the first 5 games, I was ecstatic because how well the team was performing, and Slot I think after the 4th game or 3rd game, Slot said that it is impossible to maintain this kind of last minute winners and our performance need to improve. And I kind of felt that one loss from somewhere, if the team loses at a similar kind of situation like 90-minute goal, the complete thing will fall apart, and that exact thing happened. So after that first 5 game, to be honest, I don't know when we went up. Every performance was worse than the other, and we got lucky to even get every 3 point we got lucky, except for the Karabakh, Galatasaray, and the Newcastle game. These are three games which I felt like, feel like the team clicked to some extent.
One second, what about the Real Madrid game?
It was Real Madrid, like I think McAllister scored a header, right? I mean, it was, I think McAllister scored a header 1-0. I think Real Madrid game is kind of outlier. I think we did not have the control, although we did not give them too much away as well. It kind of reminded me of the Manchester City game from last season, where they had all the balls most of the times, but we still scored the winner. And we had kind of control, but not like we like to. So that is one of the outliers, I would say.
I forgot to mention one more thing. The reason I gave it 5 out of 10. Slots press firstly, we should agree, like, our coaches tends to give legendary press conferences, whether it was Klopp or Slot. Now, what end of the spectrum they fall into is a different issue altogether. But one thing I'll give Slot, and I think all of us agree, he's a straight shooter. He just says what he thinks. He's a straight shooter. Um, and I can't fault him for that. That's a person's character. And I appreciate that. But I think he could have made some effort in winning over the fan base and making them understand the project and everything that they're trying. I think he never even bothered with that. If you remember, like, Klopp was questioned. I think it was when Fabinho came in. Fabinho did not play a game for 3 months or something
6
like that.
months.
Right?
I think he
Something
was
like
on and off for 6 months. He played like
Right. So, and Klopp was very generous with his explanations, like why he's doing that, what is the explanation and everything. Slot, once again, there were numerous issues. I think I would not say handled it better. I mean, it depends on the person, right? How you explain things and everything. But he could have definitely made a little bit more effort to win over the fan base and the supporters and everything, to win the support of the COP and go from there. I think that would have really helped in the, the last 5, 10 games or whatever that we had and everything, Anfield's atmosphere and all those things. So that is also one more reason I'm giving it I gave it a 5. I forgot to mention that earlier. Yeah.
See, JD, you have to incorporate what happened during the season, right? So when initially we were winning and things like that, yes, there was like a lot of freedom given to Salah for what he did in the last season. So think about all those games which we won during the start of the season. Was Salah performing well during those things? No, he was not. And after that, during that, I'm not blaming Salah or something like that. He wanted to be human this season instead of being superhuman, which is fine. So yeah, again, like what happened was like team started taking advantage of that, right? Like Salah is staying up, and then every team came out after the game and said that like Salah is staying up, and we need to want to use the space behind Salah. So what Slot did after the PSV game is, okay, we are too open, and we need to bring everybody back. So that's when he started dropping Salah to make the team more tighter. So from that point on, when what we were 12th in the league at that point of time, we came to 4th in January because he tightened it up. And what Salah did in response to that, we had our best run when Salah was absent from the team into AFCON. Like we didn't lose any games, but we tightened up our defense. We started gaining points. We went from 12th to 4th. We need to credit.
which we you remember that,
We need,
like at that point of time I was asking in the WhatsApp group. We did not have a podcast that point of time, but I'm pretty much sure you guys remember I told the exact same thing, and Slot did it, that we need to tighten up. Once you
Correct.
close down the shop, eventually you will try to find out the spaces
yeah.
in the other teams. But our counter attack has been so slow. Even though
Right.
we had the spaces, we could not score.
Correct. So yeah, there are like mitigating factors for that, right? So we need to credit Slot for tightening our defense at that point of time. He took points of teams and he got us up to 4th. And then like Salah had to come out and give that interview and then threw a bombshell. See, all these things have ripple effects, right? So you had Diego Jota died before the start of the season. Leone's season ended on his debut. Joe Gomez always gets injured. You miss out on Mark Guehi on the last day of the transfer window. Then 130 million Isak broke his leg. Frimpong picked up 3 separate hamstring injuries. Bradley missed around 32 games this season. And Salah, like I said, he became human. And McAllister aged like 10 years overnight. And then Ekitike did his Achilles. So you think about all these things, all the ripple effects it will have on one's season, right? Like you can sit here and say like Slot is doing a bad job. Like yeah, agreed. Like team is performing bad and things like that. So think about all these things. It used to have it. Everything will have a ripple effect on the team, right?
To
So
that segue,
you
to
go
that
you go
thing,
round and
I
round.
would like to go to Jins because it feels like the perfect segue. That you can, so Sheik is again trying to give some breathing space to Slot, right? With this injury excuse. So Jins, what do you think?
uh, Overall, when we take this season, right, like I think this is how not to have a season, like the entire season not to have a season. It's like it starts everything. I like yeah, I agree with Sheik. So we bought like a 130 million striker, and we could not get him till the end of this like transfer, and he completely missed that entire preseason. Like I remember what Klopp said: the preseason sets everything. The how actively you are in preseason, how you train, and everything, right? So our preseason was kind of a full mess. And looking at like what Liverpool did the entire season, right? We were not fixing the issue. What we were just trying to tape a small patch. So the first five games we were winning the last minute, but that was all like a basketball game, right? We had the ball, we lost the ball, they hit that counter and they scored. So okay, now they
But to you said the basketball game was better than the later part of the season. Like,
yeah, I agree. I said that because at least that time I was seeing some sort of good attacking side what we had. But if you take the overall like rating base, I will like, are you talking about the result base or are you talking about the performance base? Because if you take a result base like a review, forget about like the entire performance. We are in Champions League. We got Champions League. JD was saying, right, how much of importance is to have the Champions League spot. So second season with like a big transition, we sold all our Klopp's team. Basically, the core of Klopp's team is gone, and then you are finishing fifth and quarterfinal of CL, Carabao Cup. Anyway, we just throw it, but FA Cup also. I think we came to quarters, right? So overall, this one I would say our season was like a 7. If you ask me, hey, after Klopp 2 years, forget about last season. A manager comes and he will finish you in fifth. I'll take it. Okay, Champions League spot. I'm happy with it. But now comes to the performance point. If you take just the performance, I would say like a 3 out of 10, because there was no way I was seeing any improvement in the team. Slot is with this team, the new set of players. It's like almost like 10 months. And like not even any place I could see a improvement. Okay, some issue, he had some issue. Okay, let's fix that one. Okay, let's use a band-aid to fix that issue. Then comes the new issue. When we had the possession, we were not creating. When they create, they always I think this is exactly what Slot said. When we create, we had to create 10 to 11 chances to score one goals, and opponent needs only like one chance to score one goal. So this is where but again it's all depends upon like I agree what Sheik was trying to say, because if you take like the entire things that happened in our season, that is not like a normal circumstance that happens, right? Like what happened with Diego Jota, and then that I think that was the first day of the preseason. So that starts, okay, first one, how the preseason gonna be. But the first five games shows, okay, we are the champion select mentality. But we all know, like, okay, no, this is not gonna work out. These last minute will dried up sometimes, and then we will be in trouble. And that happens on Chelsea and Crystal Palace. They did that 90th minute goal on us, right? So yeah, I think it was a mixed, and I would stick with the average. If I take the performance and like result, I would take the average of maybe 5. Like it could have been worse the way we were going, and all thanks to the teams around us, Chelsea, Newcastle. See, 60 points if you getting a Champions League fifth place position. I think we already discussed last season we were getting 8th or 9th.
Yeah.
So Slot should thank each and every of the other Premier League managers to say that, okay, because we were not going to get anything better. It's only the other team's performance and their drop off that was the only reason we were here, with the fifth place. So it was a kind of a mixed one. And yeah, again, I cannot blame. I was like, I keep saying, right, I cannot blame Slot alone. It feels like a uncooked meals and unbalanced squad, and he is like trying to fix each and everything, and it is not working out. Like literally, it's not working out. The major factor I have worried about Slot is he's not able to inspire the players. Like I don't see anyone who is ready to run and do like lot more. Just forget about the technical play. The commitment, the hardworking part. Why that was missing. And when Salah leaves, I think he said the last message. It's not about just the technical of the players. It's about how hardworking you are putting and how much you play for the badge. If you take all these players, I don't like apart from of course Robo and Salah, maybe Jones. Apart from these three players, I don't see any player who is ready to do whatever needed for the club. So we kind of missing Milner, Henderson kind of players where they are technically not that great, but they understand the value to play for the club. So yeah, I would say again like a 5 average of performance as well as the result.
Just one anecdotal reference. Henderson got a yellow card in the last game, right? Because Brentford were desperately trying to fight and everything. I mean, Henderson has literally won everything with us, all possible types of cups and everything. But he was still shouting and screaming from the bench and got a yellow card because he wanted his players, Brentford players, to fight. That is captain. That is leadership. That is how it should be. Yeah, anyways, yeah.
Yeah, that is completely missing from our team. To be honest, I don't know. I would say the season is like both performance and result wise. I would say it's 4 out of 10. The biggest reason is performance. Forget about performance. I would not even given one if I can. Like, we played worse than Wolves. They were unlucky. They did not have the players to pull off the individual brilliance moments, which we did all over the season. Like 80% of our goals are like individual brilliance at that point of time, rather than a team going together and creating a goal. I never saw that. Um, and Defense, forget about defense. We did not defend at all. It was like looking at each other, looking at the ball, and suddenly the ball goes to the net, and everyone is like, "Oh, what just happened?" It is all over the place, all over the season. It was happening every time, right? I don't know. As I said, that I don't know where it was the peak. There are like 4 or 5 games in whole season where we played really well, and out of that, one was Karabag, which was I don't count that.
So
Galatasaray,
what is your rating, Vivek? Because so far Sheik and I have given passing
4,
marks. What is 4? Okay.
4 out of 10.
Okay.
I would say 4 out of 10. The only reason I gave it 4 out of 10 because we somehow got Champions League, and thanks to Chelsea, thanks to Brentford, thanks to Bournemouth, they could not, go that extra mile, and they dropped points in pivotal moments during the season, which helped Slot in a lot of ways, and they took points off each other. Like, they took points off Manchester United took points off Chelsea, etc., etc. Something happened, so that is the reason. Literally, we got the Champions League somehow. But it is not. I mean, if Slot wants to stay in the job, he should just go to the dressing room, after the start of the season or preseason, whatever they're coming to US, and he should just say this: forget about the last season; it was crap, and just start up fresh. And we need to put more blood and sweat on the field. And the last season, whatever happened, should not happen again, right? If this is the passion Slot can put into the dressing room, play for the badge, play for Liverpool, play for the crowd, play for the fans, I don't see him surviving more than October. I mean, yeah, FSG gave him time. Most likely he will stay. I'm hearing some noises here and there that they are waiting for Luis Enrique decision. They are waiting for some other decision. I don't know. Not from some valid sources. All the valid sources like Pierce, Orenstein, Romano, everyone is saying that Slot is going to stay for the next season. Orenstein says unless things really unravel. I don't know what unravel means or how much unraveling means. Maybe if SG want to see us fighting relegation in October, maybe that will make them change. But if we start the season like we ended the season, without Salah, without Robo, I don't see us staying like anywhere near top 4. I'm pretty much sure we'll be around the relegation zone by October. The same thing happened with Hodgson. The same thing happened with Rogers. Rogers got sacked in October. I'm pretty much sure during October midweek when Liverpool drew with Everton. I'm pretty much sure a similar kind of thing will happen with Slot if Slot does not change things really, really, really quickly. Like, he has to change it now. He has to go to the drawing board. I understand he did not probably buy the players, but he needs to go to the drawing board and make sure that these players work. And we'll discuss about more signings, etc. But yeah, that is my season review. 4 out of 10. The only time I think I would have given any Slot, any Klopp season a more less than 5 would be like that time we finished 5th. We did not get the Champions League. We got the Europa League, but we finished 5th after that 2021 season, I think.
I'll say one thing over here. Separate the emotions from the data. Separate that. And the reason I say that is because that Klopp season was not very, very good. I mean, injury crisis. I think Henderson played in there as CDM, right, in some of the games and everything.
No.
Helping.
So that season he had everybody fit. That was the World Cup season. So the season which Mane left. So that season was pretty bad.
Yes.
Yeah, that is the season I'm talking about. The other season we got Champions League, right, with Rice
Finished
Williams.
third, right?
We finished
Yeah,
third with Rice
that was-
Williams and
And the reason I bring it up because is like without Alisson heading in that wonder goal against what was the West Brom, right?
West Brom.
Yeah, we would not be in Champions League and everything. So
But JD, I think this is two different seasons, I guess.
You're
no,
talking
I'm
about
talking about in general. Vivek said like I would never rate any Klopp season below 5. I'm just trying to say like
See, let's come back to this season. Okay, so
Yeah.
like you said, so Slot had to play Konate and Van Dijk in spite of their errors. And Van Dijk at 34, he played the most minutes in the top 5 leagues in Europe. So that's like you are playing 2 of your players like literally every game. Okay, you
Because
are
we don't
not
have a backup. We
exactly.
Don't have anyone. Yeah.
You don't have
I mean,
anybody in the
even
backup.
if you had backup, I would say
hang on.
Van
Like
Dijk would
even if
still
you had
play.
backup, like what the Arsenal, right? Like they can play 4 center backs. Okay, that's why their XG against is very low. We don't have that freedom to play like 4 center backs. We don't have an opportunity to play 3 at the back because we don't have 3 fit central defenders. You have to play Soboslai, who's our best presser at right backs most of the times, and we lose what Soboslai brings into the midfield when he plays at right back. And again, Salah had to deal with like so many different combinations at right back, Frimpong, Bradley, Soboslai, Curtis Jones. Like, imagine all these things. You need a consistent team in the league to win. Like, if you take Arsenal, right, their spine is exactly the same. Manchester City, their spine is exactly the same. We had to make so many changes during the season. That is not tenable. Okay, so that is not you can't go into a season and with an unbalanced squad and people picking up injuries here and there. You can't sustain more than a 3-game win. So it's again like I have mad respect for Salah. He's one of the top players who have ever played for Liverpool, but he should take some responsibility here. He almost derailed a season with all these interviews in the middle when actual fact is like he was not performing at that point. So Slot had to do something. So he did it, and then he came out and started questioning Slot, and that kind of puts doubts in other players' minds. So he shouldn't have done that. So again, I'm not saying that Salah did something bad or something like that, but he should know his place, and then he should not be be selfish about all these things.
That's a perfect stop to this season review.